is awesome.
Oh, Clark, hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talent Mix. It's a Smallville recap podcast. I'm Brian, here as always with my pal Zach. Zach, what's up, man?
Are those Halloween lights or Christmas lights in the background?
I do on my bookcase. I do have Halloween lights. They're also on my desk. They are green, purple, and orange.
Okay, the official Halloween colors.
The official colors of Halloween.
Pumpkins, ooze,
right,
and
purple.
Purple's an appropriate Halloween.
Yep. Here's the thing about Halloween is, and I realized this, it took me many years as an adult to realize this, and it may be different in my future because I have a child on the way who will probably be thinking about Halloween like more frequently than I do as an adult, and I'm like an adult Halloween liker. Like I'm ready for like to celebrate Halloween. I'm a Halloween enjoyer. The problem is I don't think about Halloween usually most years until about Halloween. That's when I'm like, oh, a spooky ghost decoration and like a pumpkin and making a jack-o'-lantern would be fun. And that's usually like the week of Halloween that I'm like, oh, those things would be fun. And then the stores have moved on. Like it's already Christmas time by the day of Halloween. No go. So this year, finally, I was walking through a store, like just last week, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to get this shit now. It's time.
So when you have a kid, are you going to watch? You're still going to watch horror movies all month long, or are you going to like? What are you gonna do?
They'll go to bed. They'll go to bed.
Yeah, but Brian, when they go to bed, you go to bed.
I know. I'm trying to like paint it into like my identity will still remain in some capacity.
Yes, I'm not trying to ruin you. Sorry, I'm not gonna. You're right. It's gonna be great. Nothing will change except for you'll have a little wonderful little Brian. Speaking of your last year as yourself, have you been watching scary movies?
We had so Emily and I, the theme we chose this year, we like to pick a theme, kind of. And by saying that, I think this might be the first year with a theme. But I think moving forward, we like the idea of a theme. And for the next couple of years, child appropriate might be the theme. But
mine is what's streaming.
Yeah, right. But we're diving into some J-horror stuff this year.
Does that stand for Japanese horror?
Yes. Which is kind of a blind spot for both of us. So it's been a fun. We try to do 31, but that's a very loose goal. Of like, some years we hit it, some years we don't. Not a big deal. We don't beat ourselves up if we don't make it. But so we're trying to do 31 Japanese horror films, or some tangentially related to the J-horror boom of the 2000s. So like the American remakes also count because I think those are that's an interesting part of the J-horror story. So we watched let's see, so far we're a little behind. I don't think we're going to make 31 this month. We have a very busy October. But I watched the original Japanese Ring for the first time. Which I really like. Have you seen it?
I've only seen the American remake.
I had only seen the American remake. I really like the Japanese one. It's beat for beat story-wise about the same. I did really like it. I do think it's worth watching. I kind of like the American one a little better. I think Gore Verbinski makes a
Gore
couple.
Verbinski, man.
He makes a couple visual choices that like it's also like it's got a bigger budget, the American one. Like
right. Well, and Gore Verbinski, he's hit or miss on the quality of the movies, but he's got a distinct style.
Right.
He's got a distinct
visual
style.
It's a couple of years ago, Emily and I watched The Ring, and it was the first time I'd seen it in a while, and it was one of those like arms crossed, like, this is pretty good. Like,
there's a reason it was a hit. Yeah, it was like
this is a pretty good movie. And Ringu is also good, but like I said, it's so similar. It really is like splitting hairs on some of it, but Gore's pretty good at making movies is the thing. I like that first Pirates a lot, not the rest of them, but
yeah, the first one solid. I only saw the rest of them, and by the rest of them I mean 2 and 3.
Oh, God, right, there are more.
Yeah, aren't there like 5 or 6?
I think so. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Now that Johnny Depp,
we're going there, huh?
Yeah, let's come on. What the hell? Why not?
Yeah.
We have time. So now that he has, I don't know if he's crawled out of the pit that he was in, but he's like closer to the top.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he's salvaged his name enough to do another Pirates movie?
Now,
the thing is, it's Disney.
Right now in 2022, I would say no. Yeah. I'm leaving any of my personal opinions out of it. I don't even know what mine are. I'll be real. I don't know what my personal opinions are. I'm just purely looking at this from a business perspective with Johnny Depp's reputation. And 2022, no Pirates movie with Johnny Depp is moving. Give it 20 years, and like he's back, baby. I don't know.
You think he's going to be alive in 20 years?
I don't know.
Get out of here.
15, like 10.
Like I think 10. Yeah, 10. And he's like, goes on the talk shows. He's clean or something, maybe. Yeah, I tried to avoid that trial as much as possible. I wouldn't be able to make a judgment on either of them if I wanted to. But
I took a pop culture pass as well.
Yes. The general vibe I get is that he is better off than before the trial. Like he is at least right. It's clear that he was not the only party that was cuckoo bananas in that.
My one like here's my hand in a very like fucked up story. It's like sounds like they both need a lot of therapy. I think therapy for both of them sounds great. Mm-hmm. Extensive. But yeah, I give it 10 years.
It was clear. It was clear to me that there were a lot of I don't know what the term would be, sexist dude bros who were like throwing their weight behind Johnny Depp. Yeah, so I want to be clear that I'm not with the sexist dude bros.
We're just looking.
We are very firmly.
Yeah.
We are very firmly not a sexist dude bro podcast.
I'm not saying we are like the scions of virtue over here. We're just doing our best.
No.
You know?
No, we are not. No, we are not.
Two white men doing our best.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. As far as movies go, let's see. We also watched Ju-on. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation of it, but it's The Grudge.
Right.
That I was also kind of meh on. I didn't like I saw the American remake. Probably when we were in Vancouver, I think my mom like gave me a bunch of DVDs, and The Grudge was one of them. Which is The Grudge is Sarah Michelle. It's by the same director. But I think it's, I believe, I don't remember the remake that well, but I believe it's more or less a shot-for-shot remake.
That's where the upside down eye, right? On the kid, it's like a,
there is a kid,
groan noise.
There is a kid. I believe Upside Down Eye is Ringu, though.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. And that was okay. They're both cheap. I'll say that. They're both cheap, but The Grudge, or Ju-on at least, the Japanese one, does have some massively spooky imagery. It's a spooky ass movie. I don't know about the plot really that much, but like there is some stuff that like, and I kind of knew it was coming. Like I know like the big parts of the movie. There are a couple shots in there that if I didn't know they were coming, probably would have kept me up at night. Anyone who's seen the movie, or sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, didn't the guy who directed the Japanese Ring or Ringu, didn't he direct the sequel to the American Ring?
He did. Which is also, I believe, very similar to the Japanese Ring too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I believe so. I believe story-wise, they're pretty similar. I haven't seen either, so I don't know. I believe the American Ring 2 brings Naomi Watts back as the main character, whereas Ringu 2 is a whole new character.
It in fact does. I actually saw that in theaters. I haven't seen it since, but I remember being like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I believe it.
Exact thought at the time.
Yeah, got it.
I wouldn't trust that guy though. I wouldn't trust that guy.
Right, sure. The other thing we watched was Pulse. Pulse is kind of vaguely a ghosts are in the internet and they're here to kill you. And the Japanese movie, the original, is a very long, very slow, very like methodical take on loneliness in the internet age. In like 2001, like very, I think, predictive of how lonely a very online life would be. And I think it's actually, my wife liked it more than I did, but I would still say I really liked it. The American remake is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Wow, that's saying something.
It's the movie. It's not as bad as The Fog. I'll say that. It's not as bad as The Fog.
I was going to say, yeah.
The Fog really... I mean, like... If we can't... I can no longer hyperbolically call something the worst if we're keeping The Fog in mind. Just assume the asterisk of course not as bad as The Fog. But just
its Rotten Tomatoes score is are you kidding?
Right.
It's really bad.
But Pulse tells a lot of its story through like this very like haunting imagery, which the American movie translates to like, we slapped a blue filter on this baby. It's just that dirt ugly digital photography with like the blue tint, like way scaled up.
Well, that's the whole, like Gore Verbinski did that and did it great. And then it's like, oh, anytime we remake one of these Japanese movies, they have to have a blue tint for some reason. Like that wasn't from the Japanese movies, was it? That was just from Gore Verbinski.
No, Ring doesn't. You're right. Ringu does not look like that.
Right.
That's all Gore.
So why were they like, anytime we remake a Japanese movie now, it has to look like the American version of Ringu?
Which it is just nothing explains Hollywood more than remember The Ring? You liked The Ring. This is like The Ring. This is based on a Japanese movie.
This was Japanese.
Huh?
But like, same thing. Give money.
But like, it's funny. Like, it's funny that difference of like when Gore Verbinski was like thinking about the color palette. It wasn't just slap this filter on it. That movie looks a certain way because it's supposed to look a certain way.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Choices were being made.
Right. Not just make it look like The Ring.
Yeah. Japanese remake.
But that's all I've been watching this week. Aside from, it's been a busy week. Bachelor in Paradise. Have I talked about Bachelor in Paradise on Like recently this
Not,
season?
not recently. No, let's dig in.
All I have to say about it is it's the best of the 3 Bachelor shows. It's just the horny beach, where the hot
That's
people.
all the couples, right?
It's so basically, Bachelor in Paradise takes all of the rejects, people who have been offed on Bachelor and Bachelorette, puts them on a beach together, and just like, I don't know, kiss. Why Bachelor?
It's like a compound, though, right? They have like a hot tub areas,
right.
Yep.
Why
Fuck, I'll be on that show.
Right?
I'll be on that show, and I just won't make out with anybody. I'll be alone in the hot tub the whole time.
Well, then you just go home night 1. Then you just go.
Oh shit! Wait, how do you get voted off? I thought we just kicked.
You have
nice
to.
place.
There are rose ceremonies at indiscriminate times. This show, Bachelor in Paradise's vibe is like, it's summer. I don't fucking care. Structure is out the window. I'm gonna get into that a little later. But at the so it alternates off. It's a very heteronormative show. And I don't know if it works in a more inclusive culture. I think it's just a very heteronormative normie show. But I think the structure depends on that. But basically, one week.
I was going to say, the girls can't give other girls roses. Like, it would be too.
I think it literally breaks the show. I think this basic ass show literally doesn't work if you become a more inclusive modern show. Literally, to any modern norms. No, it's not good.
Because we can't live without The Bachelor. We cannot.
I'm saying right here, right now, it's objectively not good. This is just the way it is. But 1 week the men have the roses and they pick a lady. And then the next week the women have the roses and they pick, so there are these shifting power dynamics on the show that keep it interesting of like, did they really like that person or did they just need a rose that week? And then they're constantly filtering in new guys, new girls. So basically any of the couples that are a little shaky, new hot fresh beef just hit the beach.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great.
So it basically, why I do really like it, why it is the best of the 3 shows is all of the tensions and all of the drama are romantic tensions. It is, I like that guy, but he's with a different girl, or, you know, vice versa. Rather than Bachelor, Bachelorette, which has to pad out the middle of the season with villains versus tattletales, and like it's the same like dumb thing. Every single time, it's my wife and I get to sit on the couch and like Monday morning quarterback people's like communication. It's you know, the fun of the show is getting to lean back and just be like, he's not communicating that he's anxious about this. That said, Bachelor in Paradise is an incredible loosey-goosey fucking like, we're not really trying that hard to make good TV. And it doesn't fit very well in it. For some reason, just I think COVID kind of messed things up. The season began airing in September. This is a July show. I should have a fucking margarita. I should, you know, it's like the AC should be blasting. My wife and I should be like, it's too hot to do anything else. Let's just veg out and watch hot people on the beach. It shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a little like plug-in jack-o'-lantern next to my TV while watching. It shouldn't be, do we watch Bachelor in Paradise or House of the Dragon? You know, like that shouldn't be hard.
Yes.
So that's my only problem this year is like, this isn't what I want right now. I want to watch it's fall. I want to watch like a real show.
Right.
But it's still good.
The weather's not miserable.
No, right.
Yeah.
And then House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon's coming up on its season premiere. It's gone from season finale. I think we're on episode 9 of 10. this coming week. That's gone from a show that I'm like, I'll hold on week to week, to the show I'm most looking forward to every week.
Oh, really? All right.
It's my
Sweet.
personal top show of like the one I'm enjoying the most.
Well, I'm gonna throw it on probably once we're out of Halloween, because I'm strictly watching horror movies.
Good for you. But that's all I've been watching. What have you been doing?
Okay, so I watched a movie called The Rental. Have you seen The Rental?
No.
It was Dave Franco's directorial debut.
Oh, I vaguely remember he was directing something.
It has Alison Brie in it.
Right.
And what the fuck is the guy's name from The Guest? He's
Edgerton?
a British guy. No.
He also
He's
wasn't
British,
The Guest,
but but he plays Americans a lot. Hold on, I'm just going to find out. Guest Dan Stevens.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I thought it was solid. It's about people who they get a Airbnb, and some creepy shit starts happening.
The Airbnb trope is kind of I haven't seen Barbarian yet, but the creepy Airbnb trope I think is a thing. I'm into it.
Yep, that's the new like shitty motel.
Right.
It's the new like my car broke down in a small town.
I will say, it's like, I mean, the fear is drawn from a real place. I've used when my ideal like vacation is get an Airbnb somewhere and like, I'm not going to do like we're going to get a house to hang out in. That's my ideal trip. First night, I don't sleep.
Same.
I do not sleep that first night. Nope. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I don't know if the owner's not going to,
cameras and shit.
I can't.
They gotta have cameras. They
gotta have cameras. And I'm like, I toss and I'm not saying it's rational, but that first night I toss and turn, like I'm just aware. I'm just ready for someone to fucking come in and kill us.
It's a little rational. I mean, if you do a lot of that kind of travel, then maybe you don't watch The Rental because it might fuck it up for you. Okay, so after that, my theme became B-side John Carpenter.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I watched a movie called Prince of Darkness. Have you ever heard of Prince of Darkness?
I've heard the title. I don't know what it is.
Dude, well, I'm going to tell you the concept, and then after we're done recording, you're going to watch it, just because after you hear the concept, you're going to be like, I have to fucking watch this movie.
Great.
It's about a priest played by Donald Pleasance.
Great.
Who discovers in the basement of an old church a big like vial of green goo.
Great.
And so he invites his buddy, who is a scientist at one of the colleges, and the buddy brings a bunch of like doctorate scientist students, PhD students. What would you call those? The PhD students, like they're getting their masters or some shit. I went to a 1-year film school. Yeah. I am not an educated man. I don't know how them's fancy colleges work.
We went to the community college of film schools, and neither of us have made a movie.
It really did. It was literally an old room in an office building. It was not like... It was one room. It was 2 rooms with 2 big tables. That was our college.
We went to the community college of film schools, and we have a podcast
with hundreds of listeners,
dozens, Baker's dozens.
So all these scientists come to go to this church and set up research on it. Turns out, Brian, the green goo might be the Antichrist.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck
green goo turns green goo that turns out to be the Antichrist.
I don't even know how that works, but I want to fucking find out.
Exactly. It's got a fantastic John Carpenter soundtrack. Like,
beautiful. Oh, the best.
Wonderful electronic. Oh, yeah. I would say solid B. it's kind of like The Thing if the acting and dialogue were much worse.
Sure.
But it's still got a lot of vibe. It's got a lot of vibes.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
good vibes.
Okay. Carpenter, I have a lot of blind spots. I should dive into some. Like I haven't seen what's Rowdy Piper with the glasses.
They Live.
I've never seen it. Yeah.
I watched. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but I watched it again in the summer. Yeah, it's fun. They Live is a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to fill in my blind spots with Carpenter. So next up, I watched, and I had seen this back in the 90s when it came out, but I watched John Carpenter's Vampires.
With Mr. John Bon Jovi.
No, that's the direct-to-video sequel.
Oh,
as John Bon Jovi. No, John Bon Jovi was the replacement for the original's main character, played by James Woods.
Oh, wow.
Noted awesome person.
Yeah,
James
right.
Woods.
John Bon Jovi might be an upgrade. At least the Archduke of New Jersey. John Bon Jovi is the ruling body in New Jersey when Bruce Springsteen is not within the state.
He's the vice president.
Right.
Yeah.
If Bruce Springsteen is incapacitated, John Bon Jovi takes over.
Vampires was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Speaking of like second choice, I guess originally the second lead was supposed to be Alec Baldwin, and then something came up and he couldn't do it, so it is played by Daniel Baldwin.
Oh,
the like third or fourth best Baldwin brother in terms of acting ability.
Wow. When you gotta go even bargain tier on the Baldwins, like
Alec Baldwin, say what you will, phenomenal actor.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the ball. I'm a big 30 Rock fan.
Stephen and Billy Baldwin, and then like I think Daniel Baldwin is, as far as acting, like those other guys. I'm not talking character. I'm talking acting.
Right. I'm gonna be real.
Anyway,
I don't know if I knew there was a Daniel Baldwin.
There wasn't, Brian. I just made it up. No, I thought it's a fun movie. James Woods, in spite of his real life, who he is.
I mean, listen, if we have to apologize for people for who they actually are, we'll be here all fucking day.
I know. Yeah, we do a podcast about a show that stars the former co-leader of a sex cult.
Listen, we're in that hole. There's no getting out of it.
Anyway, James Woods is actually very good in it. Very funny in it. There's some like really bad homophobia in it because it was the 90s.
Because it was the 90s.
It was James Woods.
Yeah.
But aside from that, fun little vampire movie.
Okay.
And then, Brian, I watched John Carpenter's The Fog.
Oh, boy. How does that compare?
I mean, it's better.
Sure. But that's what I knew going into like The Fog, of like, even this isn't like one of the top hits of it's not going on John Carpenter's best of album.
No. It's also pretty slow, and the saving grace is that it's got the Carpenter vibes.
Right.
You know, the photography's great, the mood, the music, a couple of good set pieces. But no way would I look at that movie and be like, oh, what if we remade that but with less talented people?
Right.
Like, you know what this movie needs? CGI fog. That's what this movie needs. And CGI water.
And Tom Welling.
Tom Welling, not the worst part of that movie.
That's true.
We cannot give Tom Welling shit for that movie. It didn't matter who was in that movie. It wasn't going to work.
So So what grade would you give the 2000s Fog, and what grade would you give John Carpenter's The Fog?
John Carpenter's Fog, for most of the runtime, I was like, this is like a C plus B minus, but then the last 20 minutes I thought were pretty darn good. So I give it a solid B, bumped it up to a B for me.
Okay.
The Fog, I'm just going to look and see what I rated it because I just erased it from my memory. I don't think it was a good rating.
What if you give it a 5 stars?
Bad. Fog bad. Wait, I didn't even fucking log this thing in Letterboxd. I was just like, I don't want to remember this. Apparently.
It's pretty bad. I had to watch it in 2 settings. I had to turn it off and just be like, I can't.
Oh man, so I would say that that's like a 1 star out of 5.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's generous, probably.
It just blows.
Yeah, it gets the 1. It doesn't get a half star because it at least has like I don't know. It's a movie, I guess. Like,
right.
There's some movies where you're like, this isn't even a movie. What is this?
Right. No, like it is a movie. If you squint, it's a movie. But it is funny, those movies that are just like, don't get me wrong, it's a journeyman director. Like I'm gonna usher this out. Like it's a couple of it's like CW tier actors, like who were probably excited about it, but other than that, you can just feel behind the camera. We got it. We made the day. Let's go home.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll put in the CGI fog. It's fine.
I reckon that episodes of Smallville had significantly more passion behind the cameras than the Fog did.
Absolutely.
Just
no question.
Right.
No question.
Speaking of Mr. Tom Welling, and then we're coming up on the end of season 3. Cam, I have not confirmed this with her since then, but has agreed to guest host on our entire coverage of season 4.
The entirety
of it. For Jensen Ackles will be joining as a main character. Jensen Ackles, I don't know if he's in it, but is moving on a Supernatural prequel series. And called the Winchester. I haven't watched much Supernatural, but it's called the Winchesters. And guess who has been cast as a main character on the Winchesters?
Mr. Tom Welling.
Mr. Tom Welling. So that's interesting. That's interesting.
I looked it up, and it sounds like Jensen Ackles is in the show, but I wonder if it's like a bookend flashback.
Yeah, interesting.
I can't imagine they're CGIing him as a younger version of himself.
Right. I don't. That's it. I don't know much. I've seen a handful of like season 1, season 2 episodes of Supernatural. I actually like it. I think it's okay. Solid.
It must be good. It was on for 2 decades.
Clearly, somebody liked it.
Yeah.
Including guest host Cam Godfrey, who watched all of it. That's why they were prepared for, I think, Smallville. Like, I get what this is. Did you watch anything else?
No, that's it. I went to the library and got a bunch of scary movies to continue my watching. So yeah, I'm just, by the end of this month, I'm going to be in such a dark place from watching all these horror movies.
Yeah, right.
That I'll just be like, bring on the Christmas shit, man. Let's go.
Christmas, I start to fall down. We'll get into it as it happens, but Christmas we get real into like the shitty Hallmark crap of like feed me. This year we won't be able to get stoned because we're making a baby. One of our favorite stoned activities is through the Netflix A Christmas Prince trilogy.
Ooh.
We watched all of those. I think they made 3 of them. I don't think they made 4.
I bet the Hallmark Christmas market is like a huge dumping ground for ex-Smallville people.
You would
Because
think.
they film a lot of those up in Vancouver. Yeah.
Right. I think
Erica Durance is in a bunch of those.
Oh,
I think
that
Erica
makes
Durance,
sense.
Lois Lane.
Oh, sounds like a Christmas special might have to happen.
Oh, shit. Yes.
People who don't watch Smallville don't know Erica Durance yet, but they will. Oh, they will.
She'll be a huge part starting next year, or
Yeah.
by next year, I mean in a couple months.
Right. Right.
It's a huge part of the show.
Yeah. Should we
We have a little bit of lag again this week, I can tell,
Yep.
because we're just a little off.
We're doing our best.
What a nice treat for the people listening.
Should we take a quick break and then get into Smallville?
Yep.
Great. We'll be back in a sec.
Until we actually get real.
Absolutely
Real
should be doing fake
advertising.
advertisements. Zach, I'm gonna. No, I can't. I was gonna say riff an advertisement right now.
It would be like John Glover, like what does Paul Newman make? He's like all those products. It'd be like John Glover versions of those. Fuck, I would buy that.
But I would too. But it should be. So Paul Newman does his like all the proceeds like go to charity or whatever. Like it's enough to make more popcorn or whatever and salad dressing, but like it goes to charity. But it should all be Lionel themed. So like John Glover's thing, like we take all the proceeds and we put it into a fucking money pile, and then we spend that to kill more seals.
Yeah, we spend it on really weird experiments with green rocks. Brian, I forgot before we get into Smallville, the new Halloween comes out on Friday, doesn't it?
It does come out on Friday.
So next week, are you going to see it by next time we record? Because that would be...
You know what I don't want to do. It's going to simultaneously release on Peacock. I'm not
going to see it on Peacock.
I don't know if we're gonna get to a movie theater we're real busy. We want to see it in a theater. Like we'd prioritize it, but we might just watch it. We might just turn off the lights at home, make some popcorn, and
yeah.
We're about to have a baby. I can. Exactly. I'm allowed. They're offering it. Yes. It's legal. I'm not breaking the rules.
Absolutely.
That being the case, yes, I will almost definitely. I would prefer to see it in a theater, of course. But
I will make sure I have seen it by the time we meet next week.
All right, that'll probably take up the majority of. Where are you? Are you excited for it? Are you trepidatious?
I'm excited, but not because I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like I get excited when any Halloween movie's about to come out, just because it's like I want to hear the music and
right.
Like
I'm just excited to see a Halloween movie. I just like the Halloween movies, and I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to have the experience of talking about it. It doesn't matter the quality of the movie that much.
I'm not sure. Like, if it's worse than the last one, I will be shocked.
I've got a little chip on my shoulder over Kills. I'm like, I'll be like, what, you want to fucking fight about Kills?
Right. And I know that.
But to that point of like, I'm the same. If it's like, no, if it's going a little more in that direction, I'm like, no, I'd be a little like, that'd be be fun. Well, Halloween Kills is my friend at the party that's acting like an asshole, and I'm a little like, be cool. He's cool. He's cool.
You just have to get to know him.
But if he keeps that shit up, I'm gonna have a problem.
But like the Kills, like it had very little Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and this one looks like it's gonna remedy that. So, fingers crossed.
Right. Jamie Lee Curtis did say the ending is gonna make people mad, which I
Right.
think is potentially exciting. You know, like I kind of want to like, what does
could
that mean?
Yeah, what could that mean?
Right. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to finding out whether it's good or it's. Here's the thing, and here's how I kind of feel about all franchise stuff. You kind of can't hurt me anymore. Star Wars broke me. Star Wars broke me.
No,
I can't be hurt.
Disney broke my spirit. So
I have no more. I can't place my heart in that basket anymore. So like, it's just the original movie is impenetrable. It's perfectly what it is. I have there are several Halloween sequels I like, either because they're so good they're bad, they're so bad they're good, or they're just pretty good. Several that I don't care about.
Also, it's not like Halloween has been this like paragon of like, it's one great movie and then a bunch of watchable stuff.
Right. Let's be clear. There is a film where Busta Rhymes drop kicks Michael Myers through a window. Let's be real about the quality of the friend. There is a low here, and I love that movie. That movie's a lot of fun to put on at a party.
Also, it's like, you can't be worried about what happens because they can just reset the continuity.
They're just going to do it again. They're just going to do it again.
They've done it several times already.
Yeah, right. Give it. Okay, yeah, this will be it for like 5 years max.
Max, Brian. Max. Because these movies make money. Almost no one liked the last one, and it made money.
It made so much fucking money. And it was people thought that the fact that it's going to simultaneously debut on Peacock was like, oh man, they don't have confidence in it. Halloween Kills did the same thing, and it made money.
Yeah.
Money.
People want to see scary movies around Halloween time.
Period.
Why do they release scary movies any other time of the year? I feel like they would make there's several movies that come out, and I'm like, if they release that in October, it would make twice as much money.
Sometimes it's just to dump it. Like, if you get that horror movie in February, we're dumping this. We just have something better for October. That
Yeah. No, there is this, sometimes like there's no other competition. So the horror people are going to be like, well, I want to see something scary.
Right. Yeah. And we can maybe get some money out of one weekend.
But I remember the Tim Burton movie Sleepy Hollow came out in November.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did it?
And I think it did okay, but it would have done better in October.
Right. I love that movie. It's not a great movie, don't get me wrong, but I love it. I have a lot of affection
for it. Visuals.
It's
got visuals, man.
Right.
Vibes.
Yeah. I saw that when I was like in 8th grade, and I'm like, movies, man. So that's probably where 99.9% of my affection for it is coming from. But I saw it a couple years ago again. I'm like, no, I like it.
Oh no, it's watchable.
Any other horror movie thoughts? We're on a vibe here.
I mean, this episode of Smallville is very good, but it's also there's not a lot to joke about.
No, it's a
bummer.
It's a bummer. This is a bummer episode.
Oh man, it's a sad childhood trauma episode.
I guess with that said, we should probably get into it. But Memoria is the 19th episode of the 3rd season of Smallville, the 63rd overall. It aired April 28th, 2004. Zach, I'm remembering now this was supposed to be your 18th birthday party podcast.
Yeah. Did you give me a cake or what?
I did, of course. It's right here. I'm wheeling it in right now.
That beautiful, real, existing cake.
It's right here. There's 18 candles.
Is that a lemon meringue cake? What is that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I made it myself. There are candles on it. It says "Happy Birthday, Zach" on it. Like my fingers are blistering from putting it on.
I can see that it says that because it's real.
Yes, and I'm going to.
And I'm looking at it.
I'm just telling you, the listeners. I'm going to mail you a piece. I've been wearing a party hat this entire time.
I appreciate that.
So now we're going to celebrate your 18th birthday by talking about a bummer episode where a baby dies.
Brian, I'm noticing a pattern here in Smallville. They go to the dead baby well quite a bit in this show.
They like that one.
Martha lost her baby in an accident. There's a dead baby in this episode. Spoiler alert, someone loses another baby in a future season.
There's that joke of like, if I had a nickel for every time like a baby died on Smallville, I'd have like 3 nickels, but like it's kind of weird it happened that many times.
Yeah, 3 is a lot of baby deaths for a Superman show.
For a CW teen soap Superman show. We really, really liked that one.
Like even a Batman show, I would be shocked if there were any baby deaths in it.
I feel like, yeah, that's kind of a card you get like one time. That's
maybe, yeah.
Like you gotta earn that one, man.
And not to get too far ahead, but we actually see the dead baby in this episode. We see the dead baby corpse.
Memoria, baby.
It's a split second,
but it's there. It's there. Oh, I caught it. I'm of course reading directly from Smallville.fandom.com. They've got a helpful. I'm not sure if this will be necessary to communicate as I read it aloud, but they've helpfully, when they're describing the flashbacks, they put that in green text.
Oh wow! Not like italic, green text.
Yeah, right. We're getting real fancy here. So basically, It seems like someone learned how to do green text on the wiki. And was real excited about it. But Lionel arrives at Excelsior Academy in 1992 because his young son Lex is sitting on a high balcony in the rain, apparently hallucinating that he is rocking his baby brother Julian to sleep. Lionel tries to snap him out of his delusion, and Lex drops the blanket off the ledge. Very vibey opening. Took me a second to realize that this was a flashback. They cut back to a young Lex at boarding school, and it is a younger actor playing Lex.
Yeah.
Who this kid's putting in work this episode. He makes me sad several times.
Can you imagine being a kid and having to shave your fucking head so you can be in a TV show for a little bit? But like,
yeah, right.
That's rough.
That's rough. And like, it'll grow back. Like, it's not. That's something you put on your resume, though, that he was willing to shave his head for the role, right? Like, it feels like if it's a grown up, at least it's their choice. I don't know. It feels like child abuse to me. It's something. Do you think he shaved his head? Do you think it was maybe I know Michael Rosenbaum shaving his head.
I think he did. Yeah, it doesn't look like a bald cap.
Yeah. So an adult Lex is woken by Lana Lang, who found him standing on the ledge of Luthor Mansion, yelling Julian's name. Hey, what's Lana doing at the mansion in the middle of the night?
I was wondering that because it's supposed to be like April, right? So it's not getting dark super early out.
No,
it's the middle of the night.
No, and Lex clearly went to bed.
Like the maid's like go, yeah, just go in there. I think he's out on the balcony screaming about his brother. It's fine. Just go ahead on.
This
back.
Happens.
Yeah. She's going over there to go over important Talon paperwork.
Yeah,
probably.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, all right, Lana.
Or maybe Lex did one of his hey, come out to my house so I can talk to you for 2 minutes.
While he was in the middle of sleeping? In reality, on a production level, not diegetically, is there an element? I don't think Lana appears in the rest of the episode, right?
She has one scene with Clark right after this.
Got it. Yeah, right. Okay. So do you think it's an element of we just got to get Lana in this episode? She's getting paid for the episode no matter what.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's just well, might as well be here.
Yep.
So Lana goes to visit Clark, who explains that his dad is spending the night in Metropolis for heart treatment, so he has extra farm duties. Clark, you can do this in seconds. Clark.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's my first note. Because Lana shows up and it's like, Chloe told me you were going to be stuck at the farm all weekend because your dad is out of town. I'm like, does Clark do chores in slow motion just to keep up appearances?
Does he need to keep up appearances? I don't know if he does them in slow motion, but does he need to tell if his friends are asking, like, hey, what's up at the farm? Does he need to be like, oh, I'm here all weekend?
That's true. So he's not. He's playing video games, but he's like, yeah, I'm stuck at the farm.
Right. Which, you can't be like, oh, we hired some help. Like your friends are going to look up at it.
Maybe he does it in slow motion just for fun. Maybe it's like a challenge. I don't know. It makes him feel more human.
My wife and I will sometimes go to an Applebee's like normies.
You missed the opening song. I think you missed your cue on that.
I couldn't remember where it was. I was wondering if maybe it was in at the end of the paragraph. So I was thinking like, fucking shit, I think I missed it. Fuck, do I bring it up? That I missed it?
Re-record the whole episode, Brian.
I think so. I think it's all got to go in the trash.
It's a huge fuck up. I mean, I think they put Lana in there also because instead of like, you could have Clark be the one who shows up at Lex's house and be like, oh, what's going on there?
But we still need someone to communicate to him. Yeah.
But then you wouldn't have Lana. You're pushing the ball just slightly down the field with Lana and Clark.
That's true.
And the Lex Lana thing.
Do you think they're planning that already?
Yes.
We've talked about this, but yeah.
Because there's a scene right after this where Clark goes to confront Lex, and then he makes some comment about, of course Lana comes running to you. Like, there's some line there. So I think they're just moving the pieces a little bit further.
Weird. I don't like that.
You don't like the 21-year-old and the 16-year-old?
No.
Or the 23-year-old and the 16-year-old?
The vaguely 20-something. No, I don't like that. No. I don't like it. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they'd wait until she graduates high school.
They at least wait to get married until...
Oh, good for them.
Also, Brian, none of these people have sex until they graduate high school. They'll mention it. They'll make a point. Actually, Chloe does, but they'll make a point about Clark and Lana. We will find out.
That's true.
Yeah.
I also waited for similar reasons. For the similar reasons.
Yes,
definitely was just.
Yes, you and I both. We were very, very morally.
We had to believe me. We had to keep him off of us.
Right. Yes, it was tough.
Very, very difficult.
No, I'm waiting until I'm older.
Lana asks about Lex's behavior, and Clark admits that he too found Lex rocking a blanket thinking it was Julian. We did several episodes ago. The episode Carolyn Page was on we saw one of Lex's breaks. Was that this season?
But that was the like mid-season finale. That was like the December finale episode.
Right. We've been
where Lex goes to the mental institution.
Right. I'm gonna let my cat in. Vamp for a second.
No. I refuse to vamp. I will not vamp. Do not ask me to vamp. So I just vamp for a little bit.
Wonderful. The fun thing about the little room that I record in, our little office here, is also where my cat's litter box is. And occasionally,
you have my cake. You have my cake in that room? Wow, that's gross.
Yeah, it's I'll take care of it before I mail it to you. It's
Okay. Yeah, just dust it off.
yeah. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. He warns Lana to stay away from him for now, reminding her that the last time Lex hallucinated his brother, she got trampled by a horse. Clark, we're gonna have to talk about causation and correlation.
There's also like a really condescending, because he says that and he goes, and I swore I'd never let that happen to you again. I'm like, you'll never let what happen to me again? Like my friend have a psychotic break and a horse trample me?
It's also
I'll never let that happen. I'll never let that happen.
Not to say it wasn't traumatizing, not to say it wouldn't stick with. Like, she broke her fucking ankle. Like,
right. Well, compared to the other trauma this poor girl has been through.
She's been kept in a basement in a house that was rigged to explode by a parental figure she trusted.
That doesn't even make the top 5, Brian.
The horse?
She watched her parents get dunked on by an asteroid.
A meteor. The horse broke her ankle?
It's funny how that was the straw that broke the camel's back on this show. Like that is the one thing that was the big trauma for the season for her was that.
I mean that is
She's
how
had multiple childhood friends die.
we got.
She found out that her dad wasn't her real dad, and her real dad existed, and she started to make a relationship with him, and then her real dad's wife said, "Nuh-uh," and so he just fucking abandoned her.
She hasn't even stopped hanging out with horses.
Or Lex. Yeah, she hangs out with Lex. She hangs out with horses. It's okay, Clark.
Does that explain why she's not in the rest of the episode? I don't fucking know. Okay.
Yeah, I promised myself I wouldn't let you be in any more of this episode. So fuck off.
Clark promises to check up on Lex. Lex is defensive about his mental health. He arrives at the Summerholt Institute and tells Dr. Lawrence Garner that his nightmares are starting to affect his waking life.
Lex does make a good point when Clark is like, Lana found you out on the balcony talking about your brother, and Lex is like, I found you out lying on Route 6 one night in the middle of the night. So like, the amount of weird shit I've found you doing,
right.
Let's just cool it.
Dr. Garner reasons that the vivid nightmares indicate that their treatment is working and offers to stop them at any time. Lex's treatments are revealed to involve his full body submersion in a green glowing liquid. I wonder what that could be.
Well, it's a sensory deprivation tank, but it helps if you put meteor rocks in there.
Of course.
It work better.
I have no questions. No notes. This seems very scientific to me. Let's see. With Dr. Garner's encouragement, green text on the wiki, Lex remembers his 12th birthday party, which no one attended. This is where I feel like this younger actor, this younger Lex is putting in work of like, oh, the kid with like no one came to their birthday party trope kills me literally every time.
Brian, also, you have never seen a bigger spread than the food spread at this kid's birthday party.
Did no one confirm or get an RSVP?
Yeah, there is. It's like a dinner at the White House. It's like all the courses are on the table at the same time. There was we should have like freeze framed it. There was a plate full of just hot dogs for people to take. There were cupcakes. There were normal cakes. There were donuts. I mean, it was like everything on that fucking table. It was overflowing.
No
you think,
RSVPs. No.
I feel like one kid would be like, "I'm going to the mansion party." Are you fucking kidding?
Right, yeah, you fucking kidding me? Like, listen.
No way Lex is the weirdest kid at school.
Right. Lex's status as a Luthor and his baldness contributed to his difficulty of his childhood. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me, like, and he's bald.
I don't think that would be enough to scare away most kids.
No, right? I don't think that would have bothered me as a kid.
I mean, I'm sure he would get bullied for it from
Right.
assholes because that's how the world works. But most kids don't give a shit about that kind of stuff, I don't think.
Right? I don't think so. Okay, so Lionel tries to console his young son by giving him a present. I also want to say some A+ John Glover work here. I think some indication here, the eternal question, we brought it up several times, of like, does Lionel love his son? And like, yeah, I think so, to the degree that he is capable.
No, he definitely loves him. I think he does love him.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's just such a twisted.
Right.
He convinces himself that everything he's doing is for the best.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
But yeah, no, he does love him, which he shows through manipulation and
Right.
intimidation and mind games.
You have to wonder, like, especially like thinking about HBO Succession, another show that I really like. Like, is this what it's like for the Trump children a little bit? Like,
God.
Not that I think Donald Trump is as cunning as Lionel Luthor. But...
No, yeah.
I don't know. It's the question in my brain. You know, is that what they're feeling?
I mean, to a degree, I'm sure.
Right. Like, there's no way that's a good.
It's very like all
right?
I want is your love and approval, and you're never gonna get. He's never gonna love you as much as he loves himself.
Right. Your dad's kind of not capable of that, and like, what's that like?
Ugh. Awful.
Like, not chooses to not capable.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Lionel tries to console his young son by giving him a present. It is a lead box. We get an Evil Wilson moment here with which he claims was forged from the armor of St. George. Lionel tells a story about the Dragon Slayer, his strength, faith, fears, and doubts. Lex is cheered by the story. Adult Lex wakes up from the session. Oh, and the session is over. Clark has followed him to the Institute and watches the treatment with his X-ray vision. He asks Lex why he'd risk working with Dr. Garner's deadly methods, and Lex says it is worth the risk to regain the 7 weeks he can't remember. I have the hiccups.
That's not a problem for a podcast.
Yeah.
That's so who's wrong. There's a line in this scene where Clark says to Lex, "I can't understand why my best friend keeps lying to me." First of all,
Clark.
Right off, Clark. Right off. And secondly, tough beat for Pete, huh?
Who
Real
I don't
tough.
think is in this episode at all. I think
No,
Pete's
he's
just
not.
gone again.
Just tough. Like, Clark and Lex don't even seem like they hang out very often.
You know, it's been so interesting. Yeah, it's been interesting watching this week to week, which I gotta say is a different experience from just binging the DVDs like I did when I saw these in Vancouver. It's been a while since I feel like I've seen Clark and Lex have any sort of affection towards one another.
Right.
Certainly not in season 1 and 2.
They save each other a lot, so maybe it's like...
Right.
Yeah, I never thought of them as best friends, but it makes it more dramatic if they are.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it's interesting. Of like first time watching it, I don't know if that line would have bugged me, and it did here.
Yes, that's true. And we're going to get, I mean, we're just going to get, they're going to get further and further away from each other. This is where we start to get some division between Lex and Clark.
Right.
Some...
Genuinely worried, Clark goes to Lionel and asks him to shut Summer Holt down. But Lionel says he doesn't have the power. Clark correctly guesses that Lionel doesn't want Lex to regain his memory, but Lionel counters that neither does Clark.
I mean, so much to talk about with this scene. First of all, real dumb move by Clark to go to Lionel.
100%. 100%.
I don't know if it's cheap writing because Clark is kind of a dum-dum, but and it makes dramatic sense. It's great dramatically. Like Clark also doesn't want Lex. Clark also doesn't want Lex to find out about his powers, so he's kind of in a compromised position. And I love.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Which, just for if anyone's like hopping in, over the 7-week period that Lex is looking for, Lex finds out about Clark's powers, but then conveniently forgot them.
Yes, because
so that's
Lionel
what Clark is worried about.
Made him go through some experimental treatment to lose his memories.
Right.
My favorite part about the scene, though, is so Clark shows up, tells Lionel about this Summer Holt situation. Lionel seemingly did not know about this before, right? Clark is telling him new information. And then when Lionel says, I think you don't want him to find out also, and Clark's like, why would you say that? Lionel hits one button on remote and video footage
this queued up just in case.
He had a video of Clark's, like Lex telling Clark he knows about his secret way back in those 7 weeks. He had it queued up. So does that mean for the last 4 months, he's had that video ready in his office in case Clark came in and tried to talk shit to him?
Which is like, fucking Lionel. Like, I think that man is ready for all fucking contingencies.
But it's not like, he wasn't like, oh, then watch this video. Give me a second while I pull it up on my computer. He was like, no. Beep. Boom. And it just ready to go. Ready to go.
I imagine when you have Lionel Luthor money, when you have Lionel fucking Luthor money, you can have a custom remote with just, the T and a button that says Clark.
Yeah. He was, what do you think there was some nights where he had friends in there and they're like, hey, should we watch the game? And he's like, oh no, that's my Clark TV. We can't fuck with
that's
that.
For something.
Dude, it's all set up. We cannot fuck with that TV.
It's all set up for when a teenager comes in and starts talking shit.
Or he just has a really good sense about it. He was like, I think we need to set up this TV tonight. I feel like this is going to come in handy.
I don't know. My intuitions and my beautiful mane of hair have
I'd
never let me
rather
lie.
have the TV set up and ready and not need it than need that setup and not have it. That would be really embarrassing.
Right.
If Clark came in here and talked shit and I had no way to just make him look like an idiot.
Man, I have I was just reminded of it. So my buddy was a friend of mine, who I haven't spoken to in a while, but he's a nice guy, friendly-ish on the social medias. Works for a show called the George Lucas Talk Show. This comedian Connor Ratliff basically does a talk show.
He does the impression.
Right. They were at New York Comic-Con this past weekend. They did a big show. So my friend logged Gremlins 2, saying he rewatched it for a guest that was going to appear on the George Lucas Talk Show and then never showed up.
Oh.
You know who's in Gremlins 2?
Yeah, and you know who was at the New York Comic Con?
Is Mr. John Glover.
He didn't show up? That's hard.
I don't know. I don't know.
If he didn't show up to your friend's podcast, he's not going to show up to our podcast ever.
Boy, that's true.
Oh my gosh.
I am curious. I don't have that confirmed, but I'm just putting some things together.
Unless The Rock was also at the Comic-Con. He was like, hey, I want to talk about Gremlins 2 with you.
Yeah.
Will you watch that? That would be a great prank by a famous person to be like, yeah, I'll be on your podcast tomorrow, but watch this really obscure movie tonight so we can talk about it, and then not show up.
That's the move. I'm sure that's happened. When we get real famous, that's what we're going to do. You have to watch The Fog, and then we'll talk about The Fog.
Fucking Dwayne Johnson. Yes, we'll do that to people. Oh, that's too mean. That's fucked up.
But also, I do have to roast you for a second. Are you confusing Dwayne The Rock Johnson with Hulk Hogan?
No, wait, why?
I'm like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not in Gremlins 2. Hulk Hogan is.
No, I know. My whole joke was was a random celebrity I want to talk about this random movie. You should watch this movie.
Got it.
Let's talk about. I just picked a random celebrity.
Got it.
I didn't know Hulk Hogan was in Gremlins too. That's even better.
Have you not seen Gremlins 2?
When I was a kid.
Got it. I tried watching it semi recently. It's Some
people like it more than the original.
Here's the thing. I have infinite respect for it in that it is the story behind Gremlins 2. Here's a story about Gremlins 2 in the middle of a Smallville recap. Basically, Gremlins was a huge hit. Warner Brothers wants a Gremlins sequel so fucking bad. And Joe Dante is like, I don't want to. Like, it was so much work with those fucking puppets. And, like, we made the movie. We're proud of the movie. I don't want to do another fucking Gremlins. Warner Brothers leaves him alone for a couple of years. And then it's like, look, we really want a Gremlins 2. You can do whatever you want. And Joe Dante went, okay.
But that's not a thing that studios do anymore, because that used to happen a lot where they're like, okay, what do we have to do to get the director of the original back? Now they would just be like, okay, next one up.
Fuck you. Boom, ready to go. Right.
Someone would be like, yeah, I'll direct Gremlins too. Fuck, I'm not doing anything.
Right. Right.
It's an error on the right or something.
Yeah, unless I don't know if that was the case, but it was definitely just like, here, Joe, here's a blank fucking check. Go ahead and make the movie. And Joe Dante went like, all right.
Then they saw the movie and they're like, fuck.
Okay. Lionel replays the videotape from when Clark went to visit Lex in Belle Reve, and Lex states that he knows his secret. Nevertheless, Lionel goes to ask Lex about the treatments and also warns him about Dr. Garner. As they talk, Lex goes into another vivid memory in which he witnesses an argument between his parents. I want to say these the transitions from Lex to flashbacks, I believe, are a lot of in-camera lighting effects. Yeah. There is some cinematography this episode, as opposed to the
style.
Yeah, right. As opposed to it's a CW TV show. This is largely a show of get your shot and make your day.
I believe this episode was the directorial debut of one of the creators of Smallville.
Oh, interesting. This episode is in fact directed by Miles Millar.
So I think it was we're pulling out all the stops.
Right. There's a handful of zooming in on Lex, and then a lot of in camera the set goes dark, and it was kind of cool. I liked it.
I liked it too. It was good.
Okay. So sorry. Go ahead.
Quick question. I think it's in the next scene where they talk about how Johnny K is out of town. Was John Schneider on vacation or something? Because this is the second episode in a row where he's gone.
I am wondering that. That certainly is a possibility, right?
He was I need time off to film Lake Placid 2.
Coming this October.
We have to watch that soon, Brian.
God.
Brian, there's no way that's worse than The Fog.
There's no way. There's no way.
Direct-to-video sequel. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting money on it. The direct-to-video sequel to Lake Placid is better than the Fog.
Theatrically released The Fog.
It has to be. It
has to be.
I'm calling it.
It has to be
now.
But yeah, there's no Johnny K, there's no Pete, and there's no Chloe this episode. Which I guess goes against my Lana theory of what's one more?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Anyway,
I think yes, I think they would move in that just the Lana.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Clark Lex thing, just incrementally.
Lex goes into another vivid memory in which he witnesses an argument between his parents. Lillian is suffering from a severe case of postpartum depression, refusing to hold infant Julian. She admits that she didn't want any more children, and she objects to Lionel's parenting practices, saying Lionel will pit the two boys against each other. Adult Lex, still in the memory, mutters, "It was an accident," and present-day Lionel is confused. The memory continues, in which Lionel finds Lex standing over Julian's crib, trying to explain that Julian was crying and that he tried to rock him. He tearfully confesses that it was an accident, and Lionel finds the baby suffocated. He is enraged and savagely knocks Lex across the face and to the ground. Devastating scene, I'd say.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and it's not even like cheesy or no, it's just like, oh no, this is awful.
Incredibly good. I think John Glover just like, what did you do?
Yeah, he goes from like shock, horror, like deep sadness to like rage.
Yeah,
it's a great. I mean, our two MVP candidates are duking it out.
I know,
episode,
right?
It's a good one.
It's a good one. Present day Lionel tries to revive an adult Lex and goes to call a doctor, but Lex insists he's fine. He sends Lionel out of the mansion. Lionel goes to the Kent farm to tell Clark that their collective meddling has convinced Lex to accelerate his treatments. He and Martha have an awkward conversation about Jonathan's absence. I forgot about the Martha-Lionel storyline. Like, I was wondering, like, oh, am I remembering that from previously? Like, no. Like, and the scene is good.
Yes.
Scene's good.
The Lionel soft spot for Martha is such a great character.
Oh, it's so good. It's like
the one area in his life where he is genuine and like he is not in power, not in control. He's just like, I love you, Martha. Please.
There is an element of, I think, and I mean, I don't know if this is ever literally in the text, but like, I think there's an element of Martha that makes Lionel wonder if there's a universe where he could be the man that like he doesn't. I don't want to say wants to be, but like could be. Is that anywhere in him? And he kind of wants it to be, you know?
Him and Lex both. Yeah, they both kind of crave that Johnny K lifestyle.
Oh my God.
Just a little bit.
I didn't even connect it to Lex, but you're right. Like, ooh.
It's a good scene, and we're going to get more and more Lionel and Martha Kay as the show goes on. There's a nice dig by Martha. I can't remember what it is, but she gets a good punch in it.
It's something to the effect of like Lionel says something to the effect of like, give Jonathan my regards. I know it must be difficult to run the farm in his condition. And then Martha says something about the condition of his character or something and like sees us through a lot of things. I don't remember. Did Martha leave that job on like bad terms with Lionel?
Yeah, I think so. Well, she quit.
Right.
I think because was it over the Kawachi cave thing?
I don't remember, but it must be, right? That's ringing like some bells.
I can't remember. She quit anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
It's like we're done with this storyline.
Right. Martha exits, and Lionel tells Clark that if he doesn't stop, Lionel will commit Lex to Belle Reve permanently. Clark is upset and goes to the Summerholt Institute to stop Garner. He confronts the doctor, but the treatment room is full of the glowing green liquid, and Clark is weakened. I wonder why.
Clark needs to stop walking into like laboratories expecting that there's not going to be kryptonite.
You guys need to move. I'm going to be real. You guys got to go somewhere else. It's all over the place here, and I don't think this is happening in fucking Michigan.
No, you'd be fine. You'd be great.
Dr. Garner, seizing the opportunity to experiment upon Clark, has his men knock Clark out, which only works because of the green goo.
Wait, do they knock him out? Do they hit him and knock him out?
Does Clark get a concussion?
I think he does. That would be his second. I think he got another one while he was on Kryptonite.
I think you're right. I guess so. I want to go back to the game tape there.
Yeah, we'll check the tape, but I'll make a note.
Yeah.
Concussion. Check.
The refs got to review the footage here.
Check tape. Yeah.
Well, we'll check that one out. We'll update next week. Garner orders that Clark be... I definitely didn't log a concussion when I was watching. But maybe I was wrong, you know?
I didn't either, yeah.
Garner orders that Clark be stripped, and his assistants put Clark on an examination table. They
strip that young boy down, take all his clothes off against his will.
Put this high schooler... We have to dip this high schooler in goo.
This show.
They take Clark's jacket and belt off and cut away his shirt. Dr. Garner phones Lionel, and it is revealed that Lionel handed Clark over for further study in exchange for Dr. Garner ending Lex's treatments. That man.
Son of a gun.
Son of a gun. Clark is put into a red form-fitting underwear and is strapped into a stretcher in preparation for the treatment. Dr. Garner prepares to lower Clark into the liquid with Lionel in attendance. Lex arrives for his own treatment, demanding to talk to Dr. Garner about canceling their session. He calls Lionel and says he remembers everything. Lionel goes to the lobby to meet him, telling Dr. Garner to wait. As soon as he leaves, however, Dr. Garner says he's not waiting for anyone and lowers Clark into the tank.
Yeah, such a weird decision. But I'm like, fuck you.
Fuck my benefactor. I'm dipping this teen now.
Yeah. Also, like, Dr. Garner doesn't know anything about Clark. Like,
nope.
Lionel's like the whole person who's like, trust me, we're gonna want to dip this kid.
Just a fun, just looking forward to dipping a teenager in some green goo. There's a screenshot here on the wiki of Clark being dipped into the goo, which looks straight out of the Wolverine. Like, I guess X-Men 2 had happened by this point, and X-Men 2 deals a lot with Wolverine in like Project X. But I did think we didn't talk about it because just God, there's so many things to talk about in a given week. But literally, I think in between our episode where we talked a lot about the movie Logan, in between recording that and it coming out, it was confirmed that Hugh Jackman will be returning as Logan.
Yes.
Or Wolverine in Deadpool 3, which I simultaneously hate and like, yeah, I'm going to see the movie.
My whole thing is I'm just glad that this means that Logan won't be his last Wolverine movie.
Right.
Like, we can leave on a more fun note. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
The grim, self-serious down note. I just have fun. That's fine. I know it doesn't have to be great. It'll be fun, silly.
Right. Let's put some money on now. Do you think the banana yellow costume is happening?
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's got to, right?
It's got in Deadpool 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're thinking of that.
Yeah. Poor Hugh Jackman's body, man. He's got to put himself through the ringer.
It's like, don't get me wrong, like, oh, boohoo, cry about it in your giant pool of money, but like,
it's not easy to do that.
No, that's not, like, don't get me wrong. Part of that paycheck is to get your body in that fucking, like.
Yeah, and like, part of me thinks that because it's Deadpool, maybe he's not going to go as crazy with it, because the last few he was like jacked. Like, it looked unhealthy, like just so
Right.
That's got to do a number on your body.
Yeah, I wonder. It was like, and it's also like unnecessary. Like, I believe you're strong. I believe you're a strong guy.
Yeah, I believed you in the first Wolverine, and you didn't have any muscle at all.
Yeah, right.
No, in the first X-Men, like,
right,
because he didn't have time to work out because he got cast so late. He was just like, he was
and
like,
also it was a different. We were in a different phase of like movie making. We weren't doing that.
True. No, Michael Keaton was the best Batman. You know what I mean? Like, it was like Michael Keaton and George Clooney had been Batman, so you didn't have to be.
There was a there's an article. God, it was at Fangoria. I don't remember. I don't remember, but the headline was like, in movies today, everyone is ripped, everyone is beautiful, but no one is horny. And like it's true of like these like rippling pecs and abs and like these perfect comic book physiques, but like no one wants to fuck. And like compared to Toby Hooper's Poltergeist, where like Craig T. Nelson's got this is just literally what she talks about in the article. I'm just literally stealing what she said. But like Craig T. Nelson's got a little baby beer belly and is like
got the dad bod.
Yeah, dad bod, and like he and his wife fuck, you know.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And they compare it to Starship Troopers, of like, you know, is Starship Troopers the future we are heading towards? Which the answer is yes. Where there are these like, you know, everyone in Starship Troopers is a perfect physical specimen, and there are these gender neutral like locker rooms, co-ed locker rooms, where all of these beautiful bodies and like no one wants to fuck because the only thing they're horny for is war. Like,
I mean, there is an element. I go to the gym on occasion, and there is an element there of some of the most in shape, beautiful people. They're really looking at themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
In the mirror.
Yep.
Not all of them, but many of them. So it's not. I could see an element of like there's a narcissism there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like they're not horny like you and me.
It's I highly recommend it. It's a great article. It's something to the effect of everyone's beautiful, no one is horny. And I do think it's indicative of the Hollywood blockbuster right now. So anyway, as soon as Clark's body touches the green liquid, Clark starts writhing and shaking in convulsions. He goes into seizures, and Dr. Garner tries to coax his earliest memory from him. Clark remembers being put into a tiny ship as an infant by his Kryptonian parents. This is the first time we've seen this. And
nerd dorks shot their wad, I'm sure, when that happened on the show.
I thought it was cool now in 2022.
I know, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Put her in the ship! The Superman thing! I remember that in the movie! And Clark begins to scream his birth mother's name, Lara. His seizures start to short out the machinery, but Dr. Garner doesn't end the treatment. The seizures become more intense, destroying the equipment, injuring Dr. Garner, and setting off alarms all over the building. Lex rushes to the treatment room and, seeing Clark submerged, breaks the tank open. Clark is barely conscious.
That glass broke with one hit from the metal, like the pipe that Lex had.
I feel
usually like glass on a tank is really thick, right?
Right. I feel like most like surfaces in Smallville are exactly as thick as the plot needs them to be.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, they will break if we need them to or not.
We need them to.
So Dr. Garner, that's a concussion, right?
That's a concussion.
Yeah, because I think they said he's in a coma at the end of the episode, but something hit him and knocked him out.
Right.
That's got to be, yeah. His brain definitely rattled around in there.
Brain hit skull, yeah. All right, we got 3 paragraphs left. Lex goes to check on Clark, who is recovering in his loft. Clark is upset with Lex for getting involved with Dr. Garner, but Lex insists again that he was trying to regain the memories his father took from him. He says he wouldn't sacrifice people he cares about to bring him down, so he will never become his father. Clark asks why Lionel hates him so much, but Lex does not answer. Go ahead.
Great moment with Lex where he's like, Clark's like, every day, he's like, Clark says, I want to believe that you're different than your dad, but like, I'm worried. And then Lex is so hurt by that. He's like, I will never be my father.
Yeah. Great.
I would never sacrifice the people I love. And it's so sad because, of course, he does become worse than his father one day.
It's big MVP run for, like, I feel like this is the 4-year consideration reel on.
Yes, for sure.
For his problem is, it's also John Glover's.
I know. This would have been the episode. This is where I thought Lex was going to pick up some ground because I knew it was all about his childhood trauma, but I forgot that a lot of it is Lionel with that kid. Lot of it is Lionel.
I'm waiting for that scene, and I'm open to it. I'm ready for it to happen. I'm waiting for that scene where at any point, and I like Michael Rosenbaum. I love him in this show. I'm waiting for that point where in the season he's better than John Glover, and like, I don't know if he's there.
I think we will get there. I still believe that.
Sure.
It has not happened this season. I think.
But I think you're right. I think this episode would have been it. And look, he does great. He's great in this episode.
Yes, he's fantastic.
It's not fair to be up against John Glover.
No, it's not. He's in a different class than everyone else on the show.
Right. Who's just so good. More of Lex's last memory is revealed. A young Lex actually discovered Lillian at Julian's crib. And his mom killed Julian.
And this is the point where, it's a very sad moment, but when young Lex is running to the room, that kid has a really funny run. Or if it wasn't, it might have been a stunt double. Whoever's doing that run, it's a really strange run.
Yeah. Which actually probably was like, they probably didn't have a full hallway.
Right, that's true. Yeah, it's probably not his fault. It's probably
it may not be. It's still a funny run.
This is the scene where we get, I would say, about a half second of dead baby corpse.
Yep, just a full, like there it is. There's enough to see a dead baby.
It's a fake baby, but the color is off because it's dead.
Yep,
like it's a disturbing image to have on a teen CW.
It sure was the WB. I think the show was on at like 8:00.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't think you could do that now. I don't think you can get away with that now.
I don't know if the WB would do it.
No, I don't know.
CW.
I don't know if that would happen on Superman and Lois. You know?
Right. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Like House of the Dragon, they would do it.
House of the Dragon, they would do it.
Yeah, they would play football with it.
There have been I know you haven't watched House of the Dragon yet. These aren't necessarily spoilers. There have been several very traumatic birth-giving scenes.
Oh.
which my pregnant wife who is also really enjoying the show, has loved.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah. Perfect.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Not all of them go well for everybody involved.
Yeah, thanks, House of the Dragon.
Thank you, George.
Really needed this right now.
So adult Lex reels in the revelation that he did not, in fact, kill his little brother. Lex goes to visit Lionel in his office and tells him the truth, that it was Lillian who smothered the baby. Lex explains that she was sparing Julian from Lionel's parenting, and he took the fall for his mother because he knew that Lionel would destroy Lillian, but he would protect his only heir. Lionel is shocked and horrified all at once and tries to express regret at the way he's treated Lex his whole life, but Lex doesn't want to hear it. Great scene. Great scene. It's good.
Man.
It was great.
Yeah, John Glover, just like, it would have been so different between us.
Oh, and but like it complicated. Complicated emotions.
It's amazing how much humanity they give John Glover, even though he's a bastard.
Which, like, John Glover can work it. You know, John Glover can juggle all of those things in like a line of dialogue.
Yeah.
If you can give it to anyone, it's fucking John Glover. Okay, Clark is alone in his loft when Martha comes up, noting that he barely... What was this song that was needle dropping?
Evanescence.
Yes.
Evanescence.
Yes. Noting that he barely said anything about what happened at the Institute. She offers to listen if Clark wants to talk. He doesn't say anything, but as she turns to go, he blurts out that he now knows his mother's name, and he feels guilty for forgetting her.
It's a weird way to word it, Wiki. He doesn't blurt it out.
Right.
He's not like, I know what mom's name.
Martha tells him that he didn't, because his first word was Lara, but she and Jonathan could never figure out what it meant. Cheesy.
Weird thing to keep a secret from him for all this time. Your first word was Laura. It was weird.
Yeah,
maybe that's your birth mom. I'd be like, that's not a leap.
Yeah. Martha gives him a hug and reassures him that a mother's love never dies. As cheesy as that was, it's a good scene. And Ned O'Teal's putting the work in.
Yeah.
Man, I'd give this an A+. I think this is an A+ episode.
This is like, what, 3 in a row really good episodes?
Yeah.
We're ending strong. I think there is one misstep before the end of the season. If I remember correctly, for some reason, we go back to the well of the janitor from Scrubs' daughter, Ghost.
Smallville. Smallville. Does Neil Flynn come back?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I do love Neil Flynn.
Yeah. That might be the next one. What's the next one called?
Next one's called Talisman.
Oh no, I think that's different.
It seems to be Lex and John Glover looking over some sort of glowing thing.
Great, sounds good.
When a Kawachi Indian steals a mystic knife from the Kawachi Caves, he is bestowed with superpowers similar to Clark's. Ooh, we might get some yikes.
We got yikes in that sentence.
Yep.
We're
yeah, I guess what do I mean by might?
The caves. Oh, the caves.
The only featured music, the only needle drop in this episode was, of course, My Immortal by Evanescence. Let's see. Memoria is the Latin word for memory. This is one of 3 Latin episode titles to be used in the series. The others are Obscura and Veritas. Let's see. Johnny K, Pete Ross, and Chloe Sullivan do not appear in this episode. Chloe has a deleted scene. She delivers a letter to Lana from the Paris School of the Arts. Not here.
Yeah, that would have really messed with the flow of this episode.
Right. No, they made the right call.
Random Chloe scene.
Is this stretch of the week? Is this the wiki stretch of the week? Clark's red underwear during the experiment scene is an homage to the red underpants that form the Superman's iconic costume. Costume department certainly could have picked any color.
Well, they always pick red and blue for Clark.
Clark always does red. So, like, I guess technically,
The colors are an homage. The colors an homage,
yeah.
But
Like that's a
like
constant Clark Bible. Like that's in the show Bible, you know.
It would have had to been like a man, like one of those like swimsuits. What do you call those? That
right.
With no trunk. You know what I mean? It would have had
right.
to been one of those.
Right. Let's see. As Lex has the flashback to when his father discovered Julian dead, Superman colors of red, blue, and yellow alternately flash on adult Lex's face. That feels like a stretch to me, too.
Right. Why would that be on Lex's face?
Right.
Yeah.
That's stretchy to me, of like their primary colors,
There's
you know?
only so many colors, Wiki.
Right. When baby Kal-El is placed inside of the ship, there are Kryptonian letters spinning around. Clark read the message in Rosetta on this third planet from the star Sol. You will be God among men. Blah 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 fucking blah. Not that interesting. Several of these episodes' deleted scenes are on the season 3 DVDs. Kristen Crook had more scenes covered, I guess, in the I guess so. Lana had another scene that episode. With Lex saving Clark from drowning, this is one of the rare instances where Lex isn't the one who is in danger. Laura L, I guess for lack of a better word, is the 14th DC Comics character to be adapted into the series. It kind of seems impressive that it's only 14.
Right.
Well,
it's going to be
show.
Like 100 by the time we're done.
Right.
But,
okay, here's fun. Here's something fun. Kendall Cross provided the voice of Clark's birth mother, Lara. She also played a little girl's mother in Jitters and Clark's grandmother, Jessica Kent, in Relic.
Whoa.
Right? All right. Okay, John Schneider did not appear in this episode because he was preparing for his directorial debut on the series. He will direct Talisman next week.
Oh, all right.
And then
he couldn't shoot a couple scenes.
I guess
he was getting ready to direct.
That said, what would you have done with him? You know, like
no, yeah.
But that's interesting. We also have here Gary Hudson's appearance in this episode was cut. I'm going to say, who the fuck is Gary Hudson? All I have, he has an individual page, in which case it just says he played Frank Loader. Nothing. But I guess that's everything interesting from this week. Zach, do we have any final thoughts about Smallville, about life, about Halloween?
No, I think we met our time quota for this episode.
Somehow isn't this the way it works? You know, like the recap this week is shorter in text and words. I'm like, we can stretch it out, and like this is a long episode.
Yeah.
But I had a great time.
We like yapping.
I like to yap. Fucking sue me.
The whole point. That's the whole point.
You ain't gotta listen to this.
So my question for the Smallville gods is, once this podcast is done, this episode, am I going to smash a bowl of granola?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah!